Hello, welcome back to DIY Sewing with Simply Ola, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today, I'll be showing you how to draft a basic sleeve pattern. Okay, so on my paper, I have my measurements, and all the information has been, you know, placed on the screen. So just go through it. Those are the things you're going to need for this basic sleeve pattern. Okay, the first line I was drawing there was my armhole line, just like a big where to start the whole thing from. And that's going to that line, that horizontal line there is going to represent my armhole line. Then I went ahead to uh, measure my biceps. My biceps, I said on my last video, your biceps is from your shoulder, your shoulder to the biggest part of your arm. The biggest part of your arm, all right? The difference between your shoulder slope to the biggest part of your arm, or you can go ahead and measure your bust circumference, your bust round, divide it by 12 and add 1 inches to it. Then I went ahead to, you know, mark where I want my sleeve length to be. Okay, in this case, mine is 23, between 23, 24. You can determine what length you want your sleeve to be, but I will advise you, if you are making like a bishop sleeve, any sleeve that requires elastic, increase the length of your sleeve. If not, your sleeve will jump off. If you want 22 with a bishop sleeve, make sure your sleeve length is about 25, 26. Okay, so I measure my armhole line, my bicep line. The next line is my elbow line, and the fourth one is my wrist line. That is the length of my sleeve. Okay, so you only need 4 horizontal line. The fourth one is going to represent your armhole line. The second one will represent your bicep line. The third one will represent your elbow line. The fourth one will represent your wrist, which is going to be obviously the length of your sleeve. Okay, so there I was just dividing my armhole. For you to start your measurement, you're going to need your armhole circumference, which is your armhole round. Okay, you are going to divide it by 2. Divide your armhole by 2, and you're going to, bring it down diagonally. You're going to, that is what I was doing there. The my that line there indicates my armhole circumference. In this case, mine is 20 divided by 2, and I place it diagonally to connect with my biceps line. Okay, so I place it diagonally to connect with my bicep line. That is what I was doing there, and I added 1 inch to it. I added 1 inch to it for the swing allowance. So you go ahead and do the same thing. Measure your armhole round, divide it by 2, place it from the first line, which represents your armhole line, and connect it diagonally to your biceps line. And that is exactly what I did there. Okay, you can check. I put a lot of information on the screen. Just you can pause the video, go through those, the information there, and just follow suit. Then I went ahead to measure my uh, elbow circumference. That is my elbow divided by 2. Whatever you get there, you place it on the third line, which represents my elbow line. Okay, so like I said, the first straight line represents your armhole. The second straight line represents your bicep line. The third line represents your elbow. Okay, then I went ahead to uh put tape rule around my wrist to measure my wrist. Okay, and I make sure it can come out from my, like if you fold your hand, it should be able to come out, and that's exactly what I did there. Okay, whatever it gives you, you divide it by 2. All right, divide it by 2, and you position it on the last horizontal line, and that is exactly what I did there. And I went ahead to connect the 3 lines together. The 4 lines together, from the first to the second to the third and to the fourth, and you can see that it's already looking like sleeve already. Okay, so anything you get from your armhole, biceps, elbow, and wrist, you add 1 inch to it for the sewing allowance. Okay, except if you are making like a stretching materials, you might not need to add anything to it. Then I went ahead there to find the midpoint of my armhole. the midpoint of my armhole, that is your armhole divided by 2. After, okay, I will say divided by 4 now, all right, because the first line there represent divided by 2. Now I was looking for the midpoint of that divided by 2. So in this case, you can measure, I mean, you can divide your armhole circumference by 4. Whatever it gives you, place it there. In this case, mine is going to be 11.5 plus the showing allowance, okay, and I just mark it down. Then I went ahead to divide that half, the half of half, okay. I divided it by another 2. So that is from the midpoint. I went ahead to divide the remaining side by 2, okay. I went ahead to use my curve ruler to connect it to the midpoint. Then I went ahead to connect it to the second the second line. So by that, when you divide the half and the remaining half. So to differentiate between the back sleeve and the front sleeve, just find the midpoint of your armhole. Find the midpoint, okay. Once you get that midpoint, look for another midpoint of the remaining part of the sleeve. Like you can see what I was doing there. You find the remaining, just divide the remaining part by 2. Divide the remaining part by another 2, okay. Then go inward by half an inch. Then from the other side, go outward by half an inch and connect the 2 lines together, okay. So you come from the first part of your armhole, you connect it down to the second midpoint, okay. So by doing so, you'll be able to differentiate between the back and the front, and that was exactly what I did there. Okay, so if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'll be uploading a lot of beautiful, easy. I'll be uploading a lot of video easy to follow every week. So just make sure you subscribe. You have a lot to learn. Okay. So after differentiating between my back sleeve and the front sleeves, I just went ahead to have like a box sleeve, block sleeve rather. I don't want to cut it off. I don't want to cut that shape off. You can go ahead and cut the shape just like the way you're seeing it on the screen, but I just went ahead to have my as a block sleeve so that I can use it for any type of sleeve. Then if I needed to cut it the shape, I'll just go ahead and cut it, okay. And then I just went ahead to cut out the front sleeve first, okay. Just look critically the way I cut this, please don't make mistake. Okay, I went ahead to cut the first one, which is the front sleeve, because the front is always bigger than the back, okay. After that, I opened the paper. You can see that I opened the paper, then I went ahead to cut the back sleeve, okay. So just do the same thing. That is for you to differentiate between the front and the back sleeve there, okay. So just look at what I was doing there. Take your time to cut it out neatly, okay. Like I said, if you haven't subscribed yet, you better do. There's a lot coming on this channel that it's going to benefit you as a beginner. All right. So, and I went ahead to just label it, just put the information on it so that you know where is the back and the front, so that I can differentiate between the back and the front. And that is just it for this tutorial. See you on my next video, okay. I'll be uploading new video every week, at least 2, so there is a lot to learn. And there I was just trying to cut the excess, because sometimes when you do that cutting, it might be too big, or so I discovered that it was too big, and I was just trying to trim off the excess just to make sure I have the accurate measurements there, okay. So, and that is it. I think that's the end of this tutorial. If you haven't watched the first video on how I show you how to measure your sleeve, you know just go ahead and watch that video. It's a very short video, maybe just 4 minutes video, just 4 minutes or 4.5 minutes. Go ahead and watch it. That will help you to measure yourself, to know what you need, for your sleep pattern. Just go ahead and watch that video. I might